Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Garcia. We've got the car finished. Put everything back together. We've driven the car. It runs good. Now, after I do a repair, I always do a diagnostic scan after the repair and after the test drive to see if there are any other faults that remain. And there are some other faults I want you to be aware of. Here's the report of the diagnostic scanner itself. Everything in red, or rojo, means there's a fault in it. So when we look at the first one, the engine computer, and we read the fault, read fault code, electric coolant pump communication. You may have a water pump that's going bad on this. This is the same fault that was in there the first time you came. It's one of the ones that remain, but there's just one fault in there. If you remember, if you look at the video from last time, there were a lot more faults in it. But you do need to be careful of this. If the engine starts to run hot and you get a warning that says engine overheating, then you're going to have an electronic water pump. I hope it's not the case anytime soon, because it's like everything else on this car. It's very expensive. Now, inside the transmission, you'll see there's also a fault here. Gearbox oil wear. It's time to have the gearbox oil changed on it. That's what this fault is telling you, that it's worn. The oil is worn and it's time to change it. So somewhere in the future, you should bring it back. Let us change the oil on what's called the differential, or the gearbox itself. That's not the transmission, but this is an all-wheel drive car, and it requires that the oil be changed every so often on what's called the differential assembly. Or they call it a transfer case. Excuse me, it's better. Transfer case. You can go on Google and you can learn about that particular fault code, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, in this computer here, the footwell module, this is the computer that monitors all the different lights on the car. And it says you've got some lights that are out, your reversing lights out, and your tail lamps out. You've got a couple of tail lamps, side marker lights, and your clearance lights are out. So you can go to AutoZone. You can do this yourself, but you can see this backup light works. This one does not. It needs this light itself, and you also need one of the marker lights. See the red light? Here it works, and this one's out. You need a light there itself. Also, on the front of the car itself, the little lights, what they call the clearance lights, are inside here. They need to be replaced, and that's why you're getting that fault itself. So that's the report on the car. By the time you get this video, the car is ready for you to pick up, and then you'll be ready to go. Thank you for your business.